We are live here at the Cookport Fairgrounds in Commodore, Pennsylvania for the first stop on the Appalachian Outlaws Championship Tour. On today's episode, we have two classes of pulling action, featuring the small block high output four-wheel drive trucks and the Outlaw farm tractor division. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, and the action starts right now. Alright, and we're kicking off the show here today with the small block high output four-wheel drive trucks. 8 trucks in the division here tonight with a couple exhibition hooks as well. A great lineup of trucks, and we're kicking it off here with Brandon Struble. 1994 Ford he calls Mutiny, one of the top running trucks in the class. And he's backing into the sled there and gonna be the test puller. Let's see what he can do. And not a bad run laid down by Brandon. He went down the middle portion of the track there. Seemed like he ran a really fast gear, couldn't quite get the RPMs built up, but a very nice hook for him there. 270.22 and gonna be the mark to beat here. What a great run. Now coming out on the track, this is Ray Unger, 1980 Chevy he calls True American Heroes. Been pulling this truck for over 25 years now. Lots of pulling experience and a lot of experience behind the wheel of this truck here. Mark to beat is 270.22. The chain is tight, and let's see what he can do here. True American Heroes, Ray Unger. Take it off down the track. And spinning out hard at the end. He got in it quick and fast. The truck came to life. 290.81 gonna be the new mark to beat here, and a solid run put down by the True American Heroes truck. But if there's anybody that can take the lead, it's going to be this guy right here, Jason Garris, 1970 K20 Chevy here, the 2022 Appalachian Outlaws points champion here coming out on the track. A solid running truck. He pulls all summer long, sometimes even jumps up in the big block class and is in a top truck in that division. So let's see what he can do here. Pulling out 290, the mark to beat. Here he goes. And not a bad run laid down. It looks like he did it. 295.47 gonna be the new mark to beat. And he came off fast and hard just like the other two trucks did. Got a lot of wheel speed and kind of veered off towards the left side of the track. Kept the track speed going and set the mark to beat. What a run. And next up on the track, going to be Jim Basinger, High Noon, a 1985 Chevy. Now this truck has been pulling for quite a few years now. He started in the street class and bumped his way back up to the small block high output division. Last year, he actually got a first place finish at the Somerset County Fair. So a top running truck. He did get a test hook a couple weeks ago at the Listy Grove facility. So this is going to be his second hook of the year here for him. Jim Basinger, High Noon. Let's see what he can do. Oh, man, and he was jerking the tires back and forth at the end there, trying to get every little inch that he could. And he added up at 289.74. Going to be good enough for third place, just behind the number 2 spot with Ray Unger there. And the thing with these classes is it goes by combined distance for the end of season points. So he set a really good distance to get himself set for the rest of the year. Now next up, going to be Brian Struble, Brandon's brother here, 1994 Ford, and a tough truck to beat. Here he goes. And man, not what you want to see there. He could just never get that truck to lay down flat and go, and he's going to get a distance of 257.85. Just bouncing up and down the whole track. Not really a normal thing you see out of this truck, but I'm sure he'll be back and competitive for the next pull. And here he is, the hometown hero, Brett Kolonovich. He lives about 5 miles away from this track, so he was really excited to get in the driver's seat here today in front of the hometown crowd. A top-running truck, money for nothing, he calls it, a 1979 GMC. Always a good running truck. And let's see what he can do. And man, that truck was screaming down the track, spun out super hard at the end. What an incredible hook put down. 282.5 gonna be the distance, so about 13 feet away from the leader. But man, that's probably one of the most impressive hooks that truck's put down since it debuted. And a nice, smooth, hard finish there for him. What a run. And next up is going to be Jim Matthews with the Plum Crazy Dodge, a 1989 Dodge. And this guy here has been pulling since the 70s. 1977 he started pulling, and this is his first official run in the small block high output division here at the Appalachian Outlaws. A fan favorite for years and years, and now he's competing on one of the biggest levels he has in years. So let's see what he can do. And a solid A to B pass is going to give him 272.54. Not a bad run for him there. Seemed like he did have a little bit of engine troubles there towards the later part of the track. And that's something I'm sure the Matthew team will get worked out here as they get later and later into the season with this new setup. But a solid run to start off the pulling career of Jim Matthews here in the small block high output division. And that's going to do it for the small block high output trucks. Jason Garris takes the win, 295.47. Ray Unger, 290.81. Jim Basinger, 289.74. And Brett Kolonovich is going to finish it out, 282.50. There's your top 5. We'll be right back after the break with the Outlaw Farm Tractors. Stay tuned. And to kick off the rest of the show, we're going to go on to the Outlaw Farm Tractor division here tonight. 8 tractors are scheduled to pull in this class. And this is actually a new division for the 2023 Championship Series for the Appalachian Outlaws. But this class has been running for multiple years with each other with the same rule set. So the class has gotten very competitive, and it has a lot to do with the rules. It's a 466 cubic inch class, 3,000 RPM max, a 2.65 inlet, and a 3-inch exhaust for the turbo. So these tractors are on a pretty even playing field when it comes to power and what they can lay down on the track. So we have Butch Ansel coming out on the track right now. A beautiful looking International 1066 out of Somerset, Pennsylvania. And you'll see here in a moment, Butch had 2 attempts to make it down the track and wasn't able to do so, but we gave him an exhibition-only run down the track just so he can make a pass in the tractor and make his trip worthwhile at the Cookport Fairgrounds. Wasn't able to get it lit up in time. You'll see here in a replay, just wasn't what he was looking for on both attempts. So we're going to bring him out one last time. The fans want to see him go down the track. He wants to go down the track after putting a lot of work into the tractor over the offseason. So he's going to make an exhibition-only attempt here. And let's see what he can do. And a beautiful run down the track for Butch Ansel. But now we're going to get into our first official puller. This is Travis Dowler. He calls this tractor Mad Money, a top-running tractor out of the Southwestern Pennsylvania division. And let's see what he can do here. He's running the middle portion of the track. A lot of pullers were running the middle so far during the evening. Let's see if it works out for him. And a great run down the track. He gave that track all his vehicle had there. Puttering out at the end almost, barely making it. And he is going to be your current leader with a distance of 204.84. And a great run put down by the Mad Money International. Spinning down the track. Not able to get that final spin out at the end, given that track all the horsepower he had there. What a run. Now coming out on the track, this is Dave Fisher. He has an International 1466 he calls Misfit Mistress out of Crystal Springs, Pennsylvania. And this is a tractor to look out here for. Always a top competitor in the class. As he backs in to the on the mark sled. The chain is tight. He's spooling it up. And here we go. This is the Misfit Mistress, Dave Fisher. And man, what a monster run he lays down there. And his distance is going to be 301.47. So going to be the mark to beat here tonight. It seemed like he ran a ton of RPM down the track and was able to spin out pretty hard at the end. And man, what a monster pass he made here tonight. If there's anybody that can make it up, though, it's Kevin Fogarty, Somerset, Pennsylvania, International 766, a top running track. He's trying to get past that 301 foot mark. The fans think he can do it. Let's see what he can do. He's spooling it up, about to take off. 301.47, the mark to beat. Giving her all she had. He ran a similar line to what a lot of the pullers are running in this event. He kind of started off towards the middle of the track, and then when he got to about, I'd say, the 150 foot mark, he veered off towards the left and ran that same line the leader did, but just didn't have quite enough. 286.73 going through the distance. Next up, Nathan McGill. He calls this tractor Mater International 1066 from Smock, Pennsylvania. A top running tractor here in southwestern Pennsylvania. He's spooling up and trying to get out past 300. Oh, man, what a run put down. Good enough for the third spot right now. And he went out on the track. He ran the similar starting position and then veered towards the left a lot quicker than his competition did so far. And when you see these vehicles take a huge jerk in one direction or the other, a lot of times they're going to lose a lot of distance that way. So not sure if that hurt him or not, but good enough for third and a great run down the track. Next up, Wes Binky. International 1066 out of Ligonier, Pennsylvania. A good running tractor. This is going to be the second run on this machine for the 2023 season. He was just at Liskey Grove last week during their testing tune. So let's see what he can do. Wes Binky out of Ligonier, Pennsylvania. And man, did he have a run go, and he got that thing spooled up, and as soon as he started letting out, the tractor made a huge wheelie and stopped him right in his tracks there. So not what you want to see, but he was able to recover, did a great driving job down the track, was able to maintain good track speed, and got it out there enough to hopefully land a top 5 position here tonight. 280.90. Next up is Chris Bancotti out of the 724 Boys Camp. This is a top running tractor in the division and a fan favorite to say the least. Let's see what he can do here. The Freedom's Pennsylvania natives taking off down the track. And a monster run down the track. Is it enough to take over the lead though? And it's not. Just about 7 feet shy away from Dave Fisher with the Misfit Mistress, but a monster pass laid down. And like we explained before, the points go by combined distance of all the pulls. So for Chris to get out there just around 7 feet away from the leader right now is huge. They have about 5 or 6 pulls left on the schedule, and every foot counts. So a huge run put up by Chris, and that separates him from a lot of the competitors here tonight. Here's Evan Hillegrass. He's driving a John Deere here tonight from Berlin, Pennsylvania. About to take off down the track. We'll take a look at our replay here. I don't believe he had the run he was hoping for here tonight, but he was able to get the tractor running down the track and put up a distance of 274.37. So not horrible. He's just shy of getting in that top 5. But like we've mentioned before, the points go by total distance. So he's right in there. He can say he's 6 in the points right now, and there is a long season to go when it comes to these tractors. What a run put out by him. And that's going to do it for tonight's Outlaw Farm Tractor Division. Dave Fisher with the Misfit Mistress lands in the number 1 spot with 301.47. Chris Bancotti goes 300.20. Kevin Fogarty goes 286.73. Nathan McGill goes 285.01. And Wes Binky rounds out the top 5 with 280.90. And that's going to do it for today's show. Be sure to tune back next week. We have the big block, high output 4-wheel drive trucks and the Outlaw street gas trucks at the Cookport Clash. This is also their first points hook of the 2023 season, so you don't want to miss it. We have the best running 1-ton driveline gas trucks on the East Coast battling it out for the first time of 2023. And it's right here on the Appalachian Outlaws series. We are live here at the Cookport Fairgrounds in Commodore, Pennsylvania for the Cookport Clash Truck and Tractor Pool. On today's episode, we have the Outlaw Street Gas 4-wheel drive trucks along with the big block high output 4-wheel drive trucks. They're going to be putting on a great show for you, and the action starts right now. And kicking off today's show is the Outlaw Street Gas four-wheel drive truck division here. We have 6 trucks competing in the class here tonight. Leading off is Matt Mosier, a 1976 Ford he calls White Whiskey. Matt's from Clarion, Pennsylvania, and he was actually the 2022 points winner here for this class. He did very, very good against his competition last year, and a lot of people are saying this is going to be the truck to beat here in 2023. So let's see what he can do. Oh man, and 326.92 was his distance there, but Matt decided to drop the hook and come back at the end of the class here. So next up is going to be Bud Harris, Ice Cream Money, a 1987 GMC. One of the top running trucks in this division as well. He's a former Northwest PA Pullers points champion. So let's see how he can stack up here in the Outlaw Street Gas division. Green lights on the sled, and he's ready to take off.
So it's in its infancy, only 1 year old.
Man, that truck just did not want to lay down flat there. He struggled to keep a nice smooth pull there at the starting line, but 276.31 is going to be the mark to beat. Not a bad run for him. Now, these trucks can be up to a 550 cubic inch motor. A lot of these guys are still in that 470 to 505 range. Bud's one of the smaller motors in this class, so for him to get out there and put up a nice distance, very respectable. Next up is going to be Justin Rhodes, an 83 GMC. He calls this truck It's Good to Have a Goal. And this is actually the first hook he's going to have on this truck in over a year. In 2022, he was working on getting a new engine built for this truck. Just could never get around to getting it done, waiting on parts and everything else. So here he is, the first run of the 2023 season. It's good to have a goal. Oh man, and what a run put down. 305.79, gonna be your new mark to beat in the class. And he came off nice and easy, slowly got into the throttle, and was able to put out a monster distance there. What a run put down, and a great run for the first run on this engine. Next up is going to be Brian Rupert from Rural Valley, Pennsylvania, 1981 Ford. Brian's been pulling for a very long time. He used to pull in the big block high output division, the Pro Street Gas class as it was called back in the day, with the blue Ford. And now he's pulling in the street class, a beautiful looking Ford truck there. And he's been one of the top running trucks any pull he goes to. So let's see how he can stack up against these guys here. This isn't his usual class. He usually pulls a class down, more of a street, enhanced street class we would call it. Let's see how he does. And spinning out hard at the end. He took a different line down the track. Not sure if that lost him distance or not, but he had to try something different there. Had a little bit of bounce there on the takeoff and was able to smooth it out and finish strong. 295.54 is going to be the distance for him. Good enough for second place so far in the class. And this is the guy to beat here. This is Dave Millard. 1981 Chevy he calls Fredneck, a crew cab truck here. A little bit longer wheelbase compared to some of these other trucks in the class. So let's see if it works out for him running the Truxas tires. A lot of these guys are going to be running the Truxas Interco tires or a BF Goodrich tire. The compound on them is a little bit different. The tread, the pattern on them, a little bit different as well. Let's see if it's the difference maker here. Oh man, distance to beat was 305.79. Did he do it? And he's going to be clean out there. 334.90, a monster run put down. He had one of the smoothest takeoffs so far tonight. I think that's what probably got him out there so far. And that's going to be a tough mark to beat for sure. 334.90. Next up's going to be Ira Bennett. 1977 Ford. He calls steal this from Polk, Pennsylvania. This is another long-time puller in this class, a top-running truck on the Northwest PA puller circuit. Backing into the sled now. Beautiful-looking Ford truck with a step-side bed. He's running a different tire as well, a Nitto Mud Grappler. Very aggressive tread in the front. Let's see what he can do. Man, and that truck just did not want to light up and go there. 258.35 gonna be the distance for him. Not what you want to see. It just seemed like the truck did not want to go. But at least he was able to get it going A to B down the track to stay close in the points race here for the year. And next up's going to be the first puller coming back. This is Matt Moser, 76 for the 2022 points champion. The on the mark sled's ready to go. Here he comes, White Whiskey. Man, did he do it. 324.14, just about 10 feet shy of the winner, but a respectable pass put down by Matt. Only 10 feet away from the winner and 10 feet away from taking over the points lead for the year. So not a bad run. And that's going to do it for the Outlaw Street Gas four-wheel drive division. Dave Millard, 334.90. Matt Moser, 324.14. Justin Rhodes, 305.79. Brian Rupert, 295.54. And Bud Harris, 276.31. Next up on tonight's show, we have the big block, high output four-wheel drive trucks. 19 trucks are scheduled to compete in tonight's division. What a monster class, and these guys are coming from all over the place. Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Virginia, Rhode Island. There's so many different states being represented. And here's Adam Tice, 75 for the top running truck out of Eastern Pennsylvania. And let's see what he can do. And spinning out hard at the end. It's what you want to see. That truck always lays down a really nice, clean run. 294.19 gonna be the mark to beat now. A respectable run put down by Adam Tice. He waited a long ways to get into the throttle there. Not sure if that was a driver error or the truck just did not want to come open. but towards the end he spun out hard and set the mark to beat. And next up is the Mistress, Jerry Mostoller, a 69 Ford out of Friedens, Pennsylvania. This is a top running truck here, multiple wins at Listy Grove, multiple wins all across Western Pennsylvania. Now he's pulling against the top running trucks on the East Coast. Here he goes. And man, what a monster pass put down by Jerry. 326.71 gonna be the mark to beat. And he came off, and as soon as he got into it, he started veering off towards the left side of that track at about the 150-foot mark. And that might have been the difference maker there. He took a completely different line down the track, set the mark to beat. Next up's Jason Wadlington, 1974 Ford he calls Violet, from Nicholson, Pennsylvania. This is a new truck here for the 2023 Appalachian Outlaws season, and here he goes. .281.15 gonna be the mark to beat. He got a little bit squirrely there on the takeoff, but was able to recover, laid down such a nice smooth pass the rest of the way, and he kind of took that same line down the track as well, just did not have enough oomph there at the end to get going, and 281.15 is where he stops. Next up is Jerry's brother Terry Mostoller, a 1977 Ford called Roxbury Lunatic, from Roxbury, Pennsylvania. Here he goes. And that's going to be good enough to put him in the third place spot right now. 289.25, and that truck was going all over the place down the track. Probably lost a lot of distance right there, as you can see him scrolling back and forth, but the truck sounded healthy. He was able to kind of recover there at the end and lay down a strong finish. Next up's going to be Thomas Whiteford. This is a new truck for the 2023 season. He calls it Flirtin' with Disaster, from Northern Cambria, Pennsylvania. This is going to be his first run on the truck. Let's see what he can do here. 326.71, the mark to beat. Here's Flirtin' with Disaster. And man, for the first run down the track, I don't think he can be too upset with that. 279.89 gonna be the distance for him. And a nice A to B pass to get his pulling career started here against some of the top running trucks on the East Coast, so very respectable. Next up is Chris Brossman from Newmanstown, Pennsylvania, a 1970 Chevy. And Chris has made quite a name for himself over the years in Eastern Pennsylvania. This is his second year on the Appalachian Outlaws pulling circuit. Oh man, not what you want to see there. He had such big track speed and momentum going past that 100-foot mark, and he ended short there. 241.06 gonna be the distance, but man, did he have a lot left in the tank there. You don't like seeing that. And coming all the way from Rhode Island, this is Doug Aruda, a 1979 GMC he calls Amateur Night. A top running truck out of that New England area, and a top running truck on the Appalachian Outlaws pulling circuit. Green lights on the sled, and here he goes. Man, and that's a nice A to B pass, good enough for number 4 so far in the class. 273.47 for Doug there. A respectable run put down for one of the smallest engines in the class. Good enough for number 4. Next up is Dennis Nicholson, a 1971 Chevy called the Wild Thing from Normalville, Pennsylvania. This is one of the top running trucks coming out of Western PA with multiple points championships, multiple wins in the class already. Let's see what he can do. And he's going to slide up in there, 320.32, good enough for second place right now. And he came off hard, got in it quick, and ran right down the center of that track most of the way. Finished off on the left side and finished strong, 320.32. Next up is going to be Jason Barron, a 1979 Chevy he calls the Flying Farmer. Somerset, Pennsylvania native, so a lot of these pulls are very local for him, but he's been pulling for a very long time. Here he goes taking off. And man, what a strong run put down, 313.96, so he's going to be out of the top 5 for right now, but a very strong pass. Spinning out hard. Can't ask for a better run there. Next up, going to be Carl Barnhart, Midlife Crisis, a 1970 Ford from Needmore, Pennsylvania. Just a few years ago, he won a points championship with Full Pull Productions. He's been a top 5 truck with the Appalachian Outlaws. Can he win it? And a broken axle is going to set him back pretty far in the class. A monster run was about to be put down by him, but he's going to be stopped short at 273.74. Not what you want to see here. But it looked like he had a great run going for him down the track. He ran a great line, was going to follow the current leader out there, and got stopped short. Next up is going to be Ronnie Unger, a 1985 Chevy, the Undertaker from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania. A top running truck on the Appalachian Outlaws circuit, number 2 in points in 2022. Here he goes. And did he do it? Yes, he did. 331.10. Gonna be the new mark to beat here on the track. What a run put down. The Undertaker 1985 Chevy out of Mount Pleasant takes the lead. Got a lot of track speed near the middle portion of the track, and that shot him out there to take over the lead. Next up is going to be William Campbell, the Scalded Dog Truck, 1976 Ford out of Churchville, Virginia. Just got a win earlier last week in Craigsville, Virginia. Let's see what he can do here. And spinning out hard at the end, he gave it all she had. 298.08, a good run laid down by that truck there. Always a solid running truck. Nice A to B pass down the track. He got into it at about half a truck. The clutch was out and he was full force going down the track. Veered off towards the left side and put down a solid pass there. Next up, going to be Matt Moser. He just pulled in the Outlaw Street Gas class, coming back out on the track with the Judgment Day Ford, a 1979 Ford to be exact. Let's see what he can do. And what a great run down the track. We'll watch the replay here. 329.12 gonna be the distance, and good enough for second place right now. What a run put down by Matt Moser. Let's watch it again. As you can see, he started more on the right side of the track compared to some of the other trucks, but he slowly veered towards the left side. This is where he picked up a ton of track speed right there in the middle portion of the track. Good enough for second place there. Spin it out hard. Great run. Coming out on the track now, this is Scotty Kiefer, a 1986 Chevy from Connellsville, Pennsylvania. He calls this truck the Misfit. Now, this truck hasn't been out on the track for a number of years now. This is the first official hook on this truck on the Appalachian Outlaws Pulling Series circuit. Let's see what he can do. Oh man, and something is broken under that truck. As soon as he caught into it, you could just tell something was not right there. Coming out on the track now, this is the 73 Ford known as the Bandit. The driver's Gary Chambers from Bremen, Ohio, a top running truck in this class. He has many track wins and event wins with this truck with the Appalachian Outlaws, but not a points championship yet. Let's see if this is the start of his championship year. And puttering out at the end, it seemed like he had a really fast gear in that truck, came off hard, but the track just did not like it too much. A lot of drivers seem like they're underestimating this track here tonight, but man, what a good run still. He went A to B down the track, lots of track speed there towards the middle, but at the end it just didn't have enough wheel speed to keep digging there. 318.63 for Gary Chambers. Now up on the track, this is Charlene Schilling with the Disorderly Conduct truck, a 1954 Chevy, a new truck for 2023. Let's see how she does. And a cool looking truck, a fan favorite, but they could just not get it going down the track the way they want to here tonight. 235.59 gonna be the distance for Charlene Schilling and the Schilling pulling team there. Disorderly Conduct. 235.59. Coming out on the track now, this is Tracy Troy, a Chevy called Blue Past You, a top running truck here on the Appalachian Outlaws circuit. She placed in the top 5 in the points last year, and after a couple winter upgrades, they're ready to get things going again for 2023. Let's see if she can take the lead. And not a bad run put down by Tracy Troy. 313.17 going to be the distance. And she stayed more towards the middle portion of the track. Got into it pretty quick, but not enough distance to get into the top 5 here tonight. But nonetheless, a great run, and a great run to start the season in the 2023 points race. And the last puller in the class, this is Jim Rapchak from McDonald, Pennsylvania, driving a 78 Chevy they call Slightly Twisted 2. This truck has not been out for the past year or so because they've been waiting on an engine. They went down to Florida earlier this year and got a couple wins down there, and now they're back in Pennsylvania. Can he do it here?
Not bad, good, not bad at all.
3:04.64 gonna be the distance for him. Not a bad run. A great way to start the year for him. And he spun out hard there. Tried getting up there near the leader, but not quite far enough.
Not bad, good, not bad at all.
And we got Scotty Kiefer back out here running exhibition. They thought they might have figured something out different to try to get the truck down the track. But they had another attempt here and it just wasn't right. And that's going to do it for the big block high output class here at the Cookport Clash. Here's your top 10. Ronnie Unger taking the win with the Undertaker, 331.10. Matt Mosier, 329.12. Jerry Mostoller, 326.11. Dennis Nicholson, 320.32. And Gary Chambers rounds out the top 5, 318.63. Of course, you can see the full results list at AppalachianOutlawsPulling.com. And that's going to do it for tonight's episode, guys. The Outlaw Street Gas Trucks, the big block high output, a great showing by both classes and a great start to the 2023 points race. And it's just getting started. Don't forget, every Thursday at 8 p.m. we drop a new episode of the Appalachian Outlaws Pulling Series. This is a great way for all of you guys to keep up with the events if you can't make it out in person. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next episode.